Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be reviewing the ultimate Christmas palette of the year 2021. That is the Australian indie brand Glaminatrix Silent Night palette, as you would have seen in the title. No surprises there. And here is the beautiful palette. I'm using natural light. It was so sunny and summer this morning, and it is now 11 a.m. and there is a storm a-coming. I can see it. I'm literally watching the storm come in. So hopefully we can get this done before it starts raining and making lots of noise. And it's already starting to get a bit darker, but we can see this is very true to color in my opinion. Obviously that is hard to pick up because of the shine coming in. I'm gonna do swatches of these for you. I'm going to do an eye look. We're gonna talk prices, and then I'm gonna tell you my final thoughts at the end. My son is here in his bouncer. He's so noisy. I'm gonna see if he wants to go play on his mat because Mummy's working. All right, so full disclosure, this is my third time, I'm not joking, my third time filming this video. 2 days ago I filmed it. The microphone decided to do some weird thing and it was white noise the whole time. It didn't pick up my voice. Yesterday I filmed this and I accidentally deleted the whole SD card of footage that I had, including another video. So this is my third attempt, so I must really want to do this. The price of this was 65 Australian dollars, which is very rough estimate, don't quote me on this, around the US $50 mark. Shipping was $9 flat rate for standard and $11 for express, that's Australian dollars, and I think international is around the $20 US mark. Pretty standard for an indie brand at that price. So you kind of do want it to be worth it, but in my experience, indie quality is quite good. I'm very selective in what I pick, and I've heard only good things about Glaminatrix. Now with the formula of this, apparently the mattes are a new and improved formula. I haven't tried the old formula because this is my first time trying Glaminatrix, but you will see as I demo how it performs, and I'll talk about it at the end as well. So let's go into swatches. All right, so here we have our swatches. Top row, we have Fairy Lights, Gingerbread, Jingle Bells, and Mistletoe. Then we have second row, Stocking, Tinsel, Sleigh, and Baubles. Now Baubles is a special shade, and as you can see, I'm doing the best that I can, but we have a pinky purple blue shift. This is a beautiful white gold in my opinion. This other is a orange based shimmer and then a nice neutral tone. Then this is one of my favorite shades here, Stocking, a really nice berry mauve. The blue, yeah, I just think this color story is phenomenal. You can go warm toned, cool toned, and you can even pull off a neutral tone if you wanted to. I definitely want to use this in an Instagram video and maybe do something a little bit more neutral, but today we are going to be using the cooler tones over here. I'm going to recreate the look I did yesterday because I got so upset yesterday what I did, because that was the second time I filmed it. I had to just walk away. I went and washed my makeup off, had a shower, and I just went and relaxed because I didn't want to have a breakdown. It is very frustrating when you spend 2 hours while looking after baby film, look after baby, and then lose the whole content. So that was very upsetting for me, but I'm okay, and I'm here, and I'm re-energized, and I'm ready to do it again. So we're gonna do a blue look. What I'm gonna do now is insert the look that I did 2 days ago, because I have that footage, it just has no sound. I'm just gonna do a quick replay of the red. I used 5 shades. I used this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. I used 5 shades in that first look. So I'm gonna show you that look first, and then we'll go into the look for today. All right, so I've got some eye primer on. I'm using my Rimmel Magnifiers because I know it's tried and true, it does a good job. On the video I did with the red look, I used the Kaleidos Tone Activator and it did not wear well through the day. The shimmers completely creased and wore down. The mattes stayed fine. Now I have hooded eyes, which is an issue for me anyway, but I felt like the Kaleidos Tone Activator was good for enhancing color, but not necessarily long wear. So today I'm looking for long wear because I'm going to wear this throughout the day, and I'm going to leave a pinned comment in the comments on how it wore through the day with this primer. This is more of a long wear primer because that's what I need. I need long wear. I think I'll use that other primer when I'm just doing videos and I don't really care, but because this is a review, I want to know how the eyeshadows perform well. And I tend to use eye primer. I need it for I have oily hooded eyes, so I can't be without, because when I am without, my eye makeup just disappears. So we're going to start with, I'm going to do the same look I did yesterday because I really liked how it turned out. I'm going to use Slay first. I'm using the same brushes, so if they look dirty, I'm using the exact same ones that I used yesterday. Now, Slay picks up really well. There's not much kickback and basically no fallout. And I can tell you that because I already know how it's going to go. And what I'm doing is I just want that on the outer corner, and we're really gonna intensify that color. Now, I'm not someone that usually wears blue eyeshadow, but my gosh, this blue, if I were to wear a blue, it would be like this. It's got really nice depth to it. Speaking of deep, so the owner of Glaminatrix, I do not know her name, I'm sorry. She is developing a new palette, and it's going to be either neutral or really deep dark shades, and either or I would be for that. I would totally be down for that. I'm just, pretty much for me, I don't like rainbow palettes. This is not rainbow to me. It's got really good depth, really beautiful shimmers. This to me is colorful for me, but I would still wear this. And so I'm really excited for whatever palette she comes out with. She put in her Instagram story suggestions for if she does a dark palette, what the palette should be. And I suggested it should be called Abyss, like a dark abyss. I'd be interested to see how it comes out. I would love to see her do a really good black because I don't really have good blacks in my collection that I love. I have one in a Makeup Revolution palette that I really like, but I find it really hard to get good black shades. So if she's gonna do a dark palette, I would hope she does a really good quality black. All right, let's leave that like that. And then I'm gonna get, these are both furless cosmetic brushes, which no longer exists anymore. I'm sorry if you can hear my son. He's having a really good time on his playmat. These don't exist anymore, so I don't really promote them, but they're good brushes, so I like to use them. So this is a small blender brush, and then this was an angled, really dense packing brush. And what I'm gonna do is, there's a lot more kick up with this, but it doesn't fall out if you tap it. So that's not an issue for me. And I'm very lightly blending. So I want the two to merge. And I'm gonna bring the green further this way. I've got those hooded eyes, so I have to do more of a stamping motion than a blending motion, just because I've got that extra skin that likes to drag. And then I'm very lightly going to blend that out. I think the color story she's done is just absolutely spot on. And it's not just the colors she's chosen, but how they complement one another. This blue and this green complement each other so well. And the red and the orange really complement one another as well. I think she's done a really good job in the tones of the shades she's picked. It's a very easy palette to use. If you're gonna have 8 shades, you want them to be really complementary without being, they're like, none of these shades look the same. but they're very complementary is what I'm trying to say. I need to zoom you up. Why do I always forget to do that? So what I'm just doing now is I'm adding a little bit more blue, and I'm kind of blending it very slightly, trying to blend it into the green, but I still want you to be able to see the blue. I am going to go in with the star of the show, and that is baubles. Actually, will I do under my eyes? I'm gonna quickly do under my eyes, sorry. And I've got a really small blending brush. I'm gonna get a little bit of Mistletoe, the green. The storm is coming, so I can hear a bit of thunder, so I'm trying to be as fast as I can, because when that rain comes, you will not be able to hear my voice. I live in I don't live in a brick house, so you can really hear everything. I put my daughter in shorts and a singlet because it was hot and sunny this morning. I don't know what's going on, El Nino. What are you doing? Okay, so the rain has started, so apologies if you can hear it. It's not too hectic right now. So I'm gonna go in with baubles, and I'm gonna use this very flat, thin brush. And then, so you can see how it applies with the brush. I'm not using any glitter glue. You do not need it. On my first video, did one side with glitter glue and the other side without. There was no difference. That's how good these shimmers are. So we're gonna start with a brush, and then I'm gonna use my finger over the top so you can see the intensity build up. And I'm just using that special shade Baubles, and I'm gonna do that all over here. And then we're gonna go in with the Fairy Lights, the white gold, right in the inner corner. So you can see this applies really nicely. It's almost like a top coat. Nice and sheer with a brush. And then when we use my finger, I'm going to use my pinky finger. Now these are very soft, so very lightly put your finger on it, and we're going to build that intensity. I like to bring it all the way up. Something that I did yesterday, which was really pretty, I got this brush that I had the blue with, and I'm just going to blend the two. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the blue actually, and it makes it go kind of purple. It's really cool. So it almost looks like I've got a different purple shimmer here, but I don't. It's very cool. Just a little bit more because I want it to be crazy intense. And then with a very small brush, this is the Beauty Bay BB210. I'm going to get Fairy Lights, and I'm going to do that. Yeah, and this is the perfect inner corner shade if you like really light, almost white, which is what I like. All right, I'm gonna do the other side, and then I'm gonna finish on my eyes. I'm going to do liquid liner on top, and then I'm gonna tight line waterline with my Urban Decay in Perversion. And mascara, I have Benefit Bad Gal Bang, and then we're going to talk about each shade individually and what I think as a whole. Alright, the storm is in full swing, so it might be a bit noisy, apologies. But can we just take a moment to look at this in all its glory? See how it shifts? Oh my lord. It is spectacular. Let's talk about the shades. Okay, oh, my top. It's a beautiful top, but the buttons keep coming undone. All right, Silent Night, Holy Night, absolutely. Fairy Lights, beautiful standard. When I say standard, it's exceptional, but it is your standard glitter. I can't speak. Beautiful shimmer, intense shimmer. With that, it's icy, but like I said, got a little bit of gold warmth to it. Gingerbread is such a different shade. This one feels the creamiest out of all the mattes. So it actually looks a little bit more on the neon side, and it's a beautiful shade that blends out really, really nicely. I really loved the way that this blended out over this one. It had a little bit of a sheerness to it, but in a good way. Not in it's a weak shade. It's not a weak shade. It's a beautiful shade. and you could definitely build it up, but it blends out so nicely. If you wanted just a really nice sheer orange look, maybe with a little bit of this or a bit of this, or even just these two, it would just be beautiful. I really, really liked this orange shade. Jingle Bells I love that she added in Jingle Bells because it brings this palette into a more wearable palette if you wanted to. I want to do these two together, and I think I might do that in my Instagram reel. So if you want to see that, I always have my socials linked in my description, so my Instagram is linked down there. If you're interested to see how that turns out, follow me there. I think I'm going to do something with those two. Maybe that, I'm not too sure exactly, but I really like the looks of how these two would go together in more of a wearable look. Yeah, I'm feeling that. And Mistletoe is just such a beautiful color. I love green eyeshadow, so I don't have an issue with one of these. All of these performed really, really well. Stocking is one of my favorite shades, as I mentioned, because of the color. The quality across the board is really good. I think these three are very intense, and maybe this one is the sheerest. When I say sheer, it's not as opaque, but it's still gorgeous. But this here has that plummy readiness to it that I just adore in an eyeshadow. Tinsel is absolutely probably the most pigmented of the shimmers. It's got really creamy, feels like a pigment, absolutely stunning. Slay, as you can see, really high intensity, looks beautiful on the skin, blends. All of these mattes blend and layer like a dream. There's absolutely no patchiness. Fallout's not an issue. Some of them are a tiniest bit powdery, but if you look at my palette, it's not actually an issue. It's just pretty standard across the board. I did just increase the exposure because it's so dark from the storm now, but you did see, it looks a little bit more original here. It looks too bright here. But in the beginning of the video, that was much more true to color. And then lastly, Baubles, the special shade. As we can see, we've got blue, purple, silver, pink. Absolutely stunning. She's done an impeccable job. I highly recommend this palette, whether you're Australian or international. It is worth every penny. It's very high quality. Whatever she's done to her formula to improve it has worked, because I had it was an absolute pleasure putting this on my eyeballs. So that is my review. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.